So once upon a future time, not so far off into the future, but not so close to today, cloning had come a long way.
Oh my God.
And another Alexander, not this Alexander, another Alexander was part of a church very similar to this church, but very different in one really important way. They fought a lot in this church, this other church, this far-off church, this future church. And Alexander, he decided to get involved and he wanted to do stuff, and he would go into meetings and there would be all this fighting and all these other opinions and stuff that he just got frustrated with. And so he left one night after a particularly difficult meeting and he said, you know what would be helpful? What would be helpful if everybody was just like me? Because all of these differences in opinions, it's because this person was born there and this person is that old and this person is that young and this person's that tall and this person... What we need is everybody to be just like me. And because it's a story and I can do this, he lived right next to a genetic engineering plant. And this genetic engineering plant was working on a very special kind of cloning chocolate syrup. It was in very, very beta testing, small project. They didn't really think it was going to go far, but somebody said, you know, we need the cloning to come in a tasty candy-like form. And so one truck carrying some of this chocolate syrup took a particularly nasty turn trying to get into the factory. And this one can lodged out of the one box on the very top and fell right at Alexander's feet as he was walking home after this very hard day at church. And he picked up the can and he read the side of the label and said, danger causes cloning. And he said, fantastic! I need more people just like me. So what he did is he took off. He took a couple months off of work just to see if this was really going to work. And he took off to the mountains and hiked till he was super far away from everybody else. And he had one little clump of ice cream that was big when he started the trip, and he had this small little piece by the time he got there. But sure enough, he poured the ice cream out, and it was mostly soup, but he took the chocolate syrup, he opened it up, and he poured on a lot of the chocolate syrup. And that night he ate. And because of the interest of time, we won't get into how the cloning actually happened. Although he did have a slight neck ache the next morning, but we don't exactly know why. But sure enough, the next morning, there in the middle of nowhere, off in the middle of these mountains, there was 12 of him. 12 exact replicas of him. And he woke up and he said, God, it's a beautiful morning. And all together in the same voice, they said, yes, it is a beautiful morning. And he kind of had a little bit of the kind of moment of fear about that. But then he said, all right, this can work, this can work. He said, I feel like having oatmeal for breakfast. And they all said, why, yes, that's a fantastic idea. We love oatmeal. And it went on like this. And he thought, God, it's going to be so easy to make decisions. We're all of the same mind. We can build the exact same house. And we can do... He got excited and everybody was on board for a little while. And later that day, they were like, God, I want to go for a hike. And they all said, yes, a hike. What a fantastic idea. And it started to get a little old. Even that first day, every time he came up with an idea and a chorus of enthusiasm attacked him, he realized that he missed that conflict. He missed that friction that comes when people are different. And so after just a week of perseverance in the face of enthusiasm, in the face of so much happiness, he decided it was too much. And he went back to his church, he went back to his community, and he ran up on Sunday morning and he saw the same people that he was in conflict with before, and he gave them a huge hug, and they said, I still disagree. And they said, I still disagree too. And he was just so in love with these people. Because that's the power of community, and that's what we celebrate today. We'll get into where the other 12 went later. It'll be a future story at a future time. But they decided that they would separate and go far, far away and took different names and all went on to great careers of public service. But the important thing, and the thing that we're celebrating today, is that in a community like this, when we have people who are just barely a week old, and people who are coming up to 100 years old, people from all over the world, people of all shapes and sizes and colors and kinds, people of all sorts, there's a beauty and a richness that can only come from that interaction. So that's what we celebrate today. We're going to listen to 3 different people before we go off, and we're going to have a bit of a chapel. 3. So stay here, and we'll begin today's decade service.